Hey legends, in this episode of Rucking Good, I hang out with Damon Lowry. Damon is an ex-NBL champion. He's a social worker. He is the coach of the women's 3-on-3 national team. In this episode, we dive into what it was like growing up in Michigan, to going into college in Alaska, to becoming a naturalized Aussie and playing basketball over here. I got him fresh back from the Paris Olympics, so we dive into that, plus into his love of David Goggins style challenges. This guy has confronted all his assumed limits and built some amazing mental toughness that's truly inspiring. I hope you enjoy. Have a look at this. So how much have we got in here?
20.
20 kilos in here, 10 in the front, 10 at the back. And
It's hard to get him in and out too. When I sweat, I've been running in this, jumping in it. And then the sweat, the sand gets hard because it's like, if you take it out, I'll never be able to get it back in.
It's like fully
It's probably
solid.
weighs more than 24, I don't know.
Yeah, probably. And then the bag, you've got
10.
another 10. So
Yep.
you're going with 30 keggers today. And like we said, I reckon with this sweat, you've probably added another 2 or 3 kilos
Probably
to that
have.
bag.
Alrighty.
Awesome. You lead the way, mate.
I will now.
So we're in Greensboro.
Sunny Greensboro.
So this is where Damon lives. And yeah, we're just going for a ruck. We're going to talk all things basketball.
I'll take you my route. Just I would do this. We'll only do one lap of this.
Yep.
And then we'll go to a more flatter spot we can just chit chat. Henry! Neighbors, they always see me doing stuff every single day.
Crazy shit. That's actually how I found you. A mate of mine who runs the Waves basketball program up on the coast. He knew that I had a rucking company, and then he must have seen your content, and he tagged me in on one of your reels, and he goes, "How's this? You got to get this guy as an ambassador for your rucks."
What's his name?
Matt Smith.
Yeah, Matt Smith.
Matty
Yep,
Smith.
yep.
Yeah. So Matty,
Yep.
I've known Matty for years. He used to work for me, and we I think he was a bit younger than me when I was going through
Yep.
playing a bit of ball.
He's in Wollongong. Was it Wollongong? No, I'm thinking of another Matt Smith.
Yeah, well, there's probably about 100 Matt Smiths. It's
Yeah.
like a
Anyway,
popular name, but
Yeah.
yeah, so he was quite a good he was like a junior Kings back in the day, but I think he got married early and ended his career and,
yeah.
picked a different route. But yeah, so you just got back from the Paris games where
Yep.
you were coach of the 3x3 women's team.
Yep, the Kangaroos.
Yeah, which will be cool. So we'll have a chat about that. But I guess to introduce yourself to all the people that listen to my stuff, give us the story of Damon Lowry.
I'm Damon Lowry. I'm Josephine Lowry and Bobby Lowry's first and only son. I've
Born in where?
Saginaw, Michigan.
Oh,
Yeah, so now I've been in Australia now 35 years. Came out here to play basketball.
yep.
Started off in Nara, New South Wales. You know Nara.
Nowra, yep.
Played there for 2 years, moved to Victoria, met my wife. Kind of went up the leagues, just kind of progressed.
I started at the
Started
was
about-
it the VBL? Was it what was the
It was called the Country Victorian Invitational Basketball League.
Yeah, right.
Which is now called the Big V.
Oh, yep.
And I was playing for Horsham Hornets. That's where I met my wife.
Oh, right.
So I spent a year in Horsham. Then
And were you playing college ball in the States? Or?
went to college, left high school in Michigan, went to college in Alaska, Juneau, Alaska.
Oh, wow.
Played there 4 years.
And that was on a sports scholarship?
Scholarship, yep. Learned how to play there. I wasn't very good coming out of high school, but learned how to kind of play in college. And after those 4 years was up, I said, I'm too young to be retired. I'm only 20. So I knew a guy that knew a guy, got me some phone numbers to call in Australia, and got on with the guy, Warwick Cann is his name. He's brought me out to play for Shoalhaven Tigers in Nara.
Oh, wow.
And that's how my Australian basketball career started. Then by the time I got to Horsham, that was like the Big V. Then Mildura Mavericks, moved up to Siebel, which is now called NBL 1.
Oh, yep.
From Mildura to Melbourne, played for Altona in the VBA. That was just a Wednesday night comp. From there, the Ballarat, more of a high profile NBL 1 team.
Yep.
Played there for 5 years. naturalized, became Australian citizen.
Oh.
Eventually got to the NBL.
Did
in
that
2000.
help you? Because there was import rules, wasn't there, for players? Was it maybe only 2 a team?
Could only have 2.
So getting naturalized, that helped you get a run with the NBL?
NBL wasn't going to give a guy my size a gig. That's just how it was, especially when you played a lot of NBL 1 or Big V lower leagues.
Yep.
They kind of labeled you. So Brendan Joyce was my coach in Ballarat, and he got the job at Wollongong.
Ah.
And he said, well, if you naturalize and I still got a job, and you still fit, I'll look at bringing you in. And a couple years later, he did. So 2000, I got to Wollongong. I was a 33-year-old rookie. Oh. Oldest rookie in the league.
So that would have been, so you weren't playing, you came in after like the Carfino years?
Oh yeah, after Steve, yeah.
Yeah.
Steve was actually living in Wollongong at the time.
Yeah.
Commentating a lot of our games.
We used to, I used to go and watch all of their home games but that was when the Daltons were playing.
Oh yeah, Brad and Mark.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Ridlin and...
Mark Ridlin.
Yeah.
Damien Keogh.
Yeah, Keogh, that's right. And Tim Morrissey.
I just saw Tim about a month ago.
Oh, yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, well, so
NBL function.
So they must have been playing, they were playing in the late 80s, early 90s, I think, weren't they? Yeah,
yep.
So you were a decade behind them.
Yeah, I came after. I was in Australia. I saw them all play.
Yep.
But I just didn't get my chance until 2000.
Yeah, right. And I remember you won a championship with
first year,
the Hawks.
Yeah.
Was that the year that you hit those free throws to get into the final?
Yep.
I remember watching that game, man. I still remember it.
Yeah.
And it was like, you couldn't, did you get fouled on the 3-point line? You had three free throws and they were all crowd pleasers. Like they were all like
3 of the worst free throws I've ever shot. Yep.
And they all went down and you're like, and that's what got you guys, you won by 1 and got you into the grand final, yeah?
Yep. And then we played Townsville and beat them in the best of 3.
Awesome.
It was, man, that was 23 years ago.
Yeah, right. So you played, what did you play, 3 or 4
So I played
seasons?
4 years at Wollongong.
Yep.
Then I went to Newcastle. Actually, I came back to Melbourne. I was out of the league. They didn't renew my contract. After 4 years, what am I now? Yeah, I got there at 33, so I must be 37. Newcastle, I had to come back here and find a real job.
Yeah, right.
And then the Newcastle GM said, oh man, we just had an injury. We're gonna make a right.
Yep.
It's steep too, Adam. I warn you, this is Greensboro.
It's the Hills District of Melbourne.
Good luck finding flat ground.
Yeah.
Yeah, so now Newcastle Falcons said, would you come up and play the half a season?
Yep.
I said, yeah, I just want to keep playing. That was half a year, lived with Butch Hayes, legend.
Yeah, yep.
We made the playoffs. Adrian Hurley was our coach, another legend.
Yep.
We made the playoffs, got knocked out. Year was over with, Newcastle went broke. I come back to Melbourne. Right there in Greensboro, get another phone call. Another guy gets hurt. Ian Stacker calls me. He's in Townsville. Would you come up to Townsville and play? Now I'm 38.
Oh. The true journeyman.
Yeah, man. So yeah, I did that for a year. And then we were terrible. Everybody got the sack. And that was it. End of the NBL career.
That was retired.
No more fun. I always like to say I didn't retire. Nobody just wanted me. So I quit.
Yeah. And so did you, what did you study when you were at uni, at college?
I studied elementary education.
Is that something that you've done through your employment?
I didn't want to be a teacher though.
Oh, okay.
The school I went to in Alaska didn't offer many degrees.
Yeah.
It offered fisheries. I don't like fish. It offered computers. I wasn't interested.
Yeah.
Business, I had a crack at it, but didn't had a falling out with the marketing teacher. I forget business.
Yeah.
The only thing left was education. I had to declare some major because I got a basketball scholarship that you just can't just wander around.
Something. Yeah.
So,
but have you stayed in education?
Oh, no. No, I never graduated that education degree because I changed my major from, so the first year is a write-off year because you're just doing freshman and prerequisite classes. Then your sophomore year, your second year, are business.
Yep.
After that year, I decided I didn't want to do business. So my junior year, my third year, I said, I'm gonna do education. Well, that's a 3-year degree. I only had 2 years of school left.
Yeah. So you're a year off finishing that.
So I never finished.
So what do you do now?
I'm a social worker for a homelessness organization.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
And did you get into social, like, have you done a course around that, or you just?
It's weird how it works here. I mean, I was working in a warehouse after my basketball career finished. I just needed a job.
Yep.
So learned how to drive a forklift.
Yeah.
That was different from shooting basketball.
Yep.
So anyway, I was just doing that, and I see my old assistant coach, Dave Simmons. His son plays in the NBA.
Yes.
So Dave goes, hey man, I'm working at VACA, the Victorian Aboriginal Child Care Agency. And I said, what's that? He goes, oh, it's like social work. I said, huh? He says, they're hiring, and it's Monday to Friday, 9 to 5, weekends off. I was like, that's what I want.
Yeah.
I need my weekends, because I was still playing basketball. I mean, I was playing, I went back to the lower leagues.
Yep.
So I said, oh, okay, that'll suit me. So I went and applied for the job. No degree, no experience, but I had some relevant experience, I guess, when I was in Wollongong, working with youth, occasionally.
Yep.
Anyway, they gave me the job. Did that for a couple years. Then I wanted to get into homelessness, and I went and interviewed for the job. And the lady, the supervisor at the time, she goes, all right, you don't know anything about homelessness. We can teach you that. But, we like your personality, hire me. Been there ever since.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
So how long have you been there now?
See, 8 years at this particular place.
Yep.
The other place was 4, 5.
And is it are you in an office mostly, or are you
in an
traveling
office,
around?
yep.
Oh, right. And the office is at?
In Glenroy.
Oh, right.
Right about 20 Ks from here.
Oh, yeah. Which is about 3 hours in Melbourne traffic.
No, this traffic. I get to work in 45 minutes, so I got to get up early to do all my rucking and running.
You could nearly run to work quicker.
I probably could too.
So do you still play basketball now?
No, I'm done now, man.
Not even socially?
Not even. I tried to play a social game, a mate begged me, and it was the worst comeback in the history of comebacks. D grade on a Wednesday night. I made my first shot, then missed every other shot, fouled out, strained my calf, and we lost.
Oh, yeah.
I said, I can't believe my body.
Sounds familiar. I made a comeback last year and then tore my hammy.
Oh.
I'm like, nah, I'm done.
Yeah, my body doesn't even move like a basketball player anymore.
So,
Adam, we're about to take this steep hill. I just want you to feel it, man.
Yeah, nice. Do you still see Dave Simmons?
No, Dave is in Sorrento. He messes me every now and then. We always say, man, we got to catch up.
Yeah,
and then, we never do.
Things, yeah.
He's good at asking to catch up, but he's bad at making it happen. Hey, Adam, I ran up this hill when I had 30 kilo. That was part of the mission. So one lap of my house, and this is like 1.14 Ks.
Yeah.
And I'm not allowed to touch that rail for help. So I'll just go lap, lap, lap. I'll go one lap, and then the next day, 2 laps, and I went up to 13 laps. And the 13 lap day turned out to be about 13 Ks.
Oh, wow.
And
how long did that take? Oof. That was
2.5 hours, maybe.
Oof. Come on, I'm recording a podcast here, mate. Bloody emergency services. Whew. This gets your heart rate up a little.
Yeah, it does.
I'm probably the only podcast where we record at all different places.
Yeah.
And you have instances where the guests are like, trying to
This is good.
On a body.
Yeah, this is real. This is actually a distraction, which I'm normally not allowed to have.
No, yeah.
I don't listen to music.
Oh, right.
Nope, I have to listen to my demons.
Yeah, and so how long have you been doing, not that I want to call it the Goggins style, but he's kind of, he's become the figurehead of this sort of stuff. Have you been?
2021.
Oh, during COVID? Is that COVID? Yeah.
We were locked down.
Because you were in lockdown, yeah.
And it was awesome for me. I mean, I know what a global disaster the pandemic was, but when we was in lockdown in 2021, Boxing Day, I remember, actually Boxing Day 2020, me and my mate playing basketball, one-on-one, and lockdown had finished. And we normally play 9 games. He's 20 years younger than me. And I quit after 3. which I'd never done before. He couldn't believe it. I was embarrassed. I said, damn, when did I go soft? I can't believe I quit. So I started reading. My mate goes, you got to get this book by Jesse Itzler.
Yeah. Living with a Seal.
Living with a Seal.
Yeah.
Read the book and thought, okay. Said to my wife, I go, all right, we got to run every day. I said, I'm going to run this oval we're about to walk to.
Yep.
I said, I called it the oval of opportunity. Watch it out. So I said, I'm going to run 5 laps to this oval and go up a lap every day in January. So it's January 2021. And I'm not a runner, never been a runner, hate running, but I realized after reading these books that you gotta suffer, the only way to build resilience. And then that morphed. Then I get Goggins' book. Then I get Navy SEAL books, and I'm reading Navy SEAL documentaries or watching them and reading. So now I go, okay, this is my lifestyle now.
Yeah, right.
Hey, James. Not today, I'm rucking today. Only got 30 kilos, that'll do for now.
Your son needs to get onto it.
Yeah, the neighbors who I didn't know, I've been here for 21 years.
Yeah.
Didn't know a lot of these people.
Until you started getting
They
out.
see me run every single morning.
Yeah. Yeah, it tends to do that, hey. And so is your wife into training with you, or does she think you're crazy?
Nah, she does her own little thing, but she's always worries about me because I tackle stuff that's like
At 120%.
I shouldn't be doing it.
Yeah.
And I make it harder and harder each time. There's got to be something you've never done before. There's got to be something that makes you doubt yourself. Because when you doubt yourself, you find out what you're about. And that quit that I had in me, that quit don't, hey, how you going? That quit don't live in me no more, but it used to back then.
So
yeah.
it was quitting on a one-on-one game got you into a well,
yep.
It's not, I suppose it's improved your life. You're like,
Turned out to be the best thing ever happened.
yeah.
We're gonna make a left. We're going down to the oval of opportunity. Yeah, now it's the best thing that ever happened to me. I say to my mate now, he can't believe the stuff I do. He goes, I can't believe it. I mean, I've never done it before. I had no reference point. He says, do you realize when you go up a lap every day? So it's 31 days in January. I started on day 1 with 5 laps. It might have only been, it's a small oval. Might have been 2.5 Ks.
Yeah.
But over 31 days.
And then, so what was on your 31st day? How many laps are you up to?
36 laps.
36 laps, yeah. So
and
that
I was
would have
calling
been,
my mate, I was going, I remember, I'll never forget lap 22, the day that I had to do 22 laps. I called my mate and I go, how the hell am I gonna do this, man? I've got no idea how I'm gonna do this today.
and you weren't doing this weighted though, this was just
No,
running.
this is the first mission. And man.
And physically, were you heavier?
I was heavier.
Yeah.
I mean, I've never been over 80 kilos, but I was like a chunky 77, 78. But just like I had that emotional quit in me. People think about mental.
You.
Yeah.
That's cool. Once you get past, is that at Westfield or something?
Yep, that's the mall.
Yeah, right.
Not Westfield, it's the our little plaza, Greensboro Plaza.
Ah, right, yeah.
So yeah, I was like, man, my groins are hurting, my calves, my hammies, everything. My body was like, what are we doing? But
And you still had 9 days left after that
yeah,
as well.
but you can't quit, man.
Yeah.
And that's the beauty. I realized, and then running in silence is like meditation. I got to hear all my bullshit. I got to hear me try to talk myself out of stuff. I was like, oh, I was having epiphanies down there, man. I was like, oh, you've been doing this your whole life. You did this in Wollongong. You did this in Ballarat, in Mildura. I was like, oh, I started connecting the dots. And I was like, okay. And then I got a personality that I think helps this kind of stuff. Is black or white. There's no middle with me.
Yeah.
So I was like, okay. I guess if I don't make it back home, Lisa, just know I'm down there somewhere. I'm not quitting. I don't care what happened. So it don't matter the weather. It don't matter. If I say I'm doing it, you got to do it. Like Goggins says, you don't quit when you're tired. You quit when you're done.
And so since then, obviously that was a challenge that you set for yourself and you got through it, as painful as it was.
Yep.
Have you now, like how regularly are you setting new challenges?
I did 17, I call them missions.
Yep.
Difference between a challenge and a mission is a challenge is something that you try to do, whereas a mission is something that you have to do.
Yep.
Like I think Navy SEALs, they have a mission. There's no like, oh, well, we had to go. No. We're either gonna die or we're gonna get it done. That's how I am. So after I did the first mission in January, my body was cooked. I said, okay, I gotta rest. I took the whole month of February off and I thought of something harder in March.
Yep.
So I said, okay, I wanna do a mission every month, every other month.
Yep.
But when I started in March, I realized how sore I should have been doing something to prepare for March.
Oh, so you just did nothing?
Yeah.
Yeah, right.
I was like, okay, I gotta have a buffer. I gotta be like a maintenance, I would call it.
Yeah.
So I would take 3 weeks off and then a week I could do some stuff.
Yeah.
And as long as the thing was harder.
So each
eventually,
time it just gets harder and
yep,
harder.
because if
and
it don't get harder, it's like, well,
Yeah.
what are we doing?
Yeah.
I've already done that before.
Yeah.
So anyway, 6 missions a year, 6, 12, 18. I went 3 years of missions. I said, well, you know what? Missions, it got so long. I was doing stuff that took so much time. I got a full-time job.
Yeah.
There's not enough hours in the day.
Yeah.
So I said, no more missions. I'm gonna have a mission event. And when I think of something that's really hard, I'm gonna do that.
Yeah.
And I saw this guy, have you ever heard of Harvey Lewis?
Yes.
Well, that backyard, last man
Backyard
standing,
ultra.
I
Yeah,
love
he's
that.
108 yards. He built, so in my show, we had Phil Gore. So Phil Gore's an Aussie guy.
Right.
Who held the world record up until Harvey took
Is that
it.
right?
Yeah, so he did 102 yards at
Yep.
the Dead Cow Gully Backyard Ultra in Queensland.
Yep.
And so we did a Backyard Ultra in our show.
Yep.
And Phil was the team mentor, so he came and crewed for them and
Wow.
and sort of walked them through. Yeah, I'll show you when we get back. I'll give you the link to the show, and you'll love it because it's very much pushing the limits of human potential.
When I found out about Harvey going 430 miles,
Yeah,
I said, okay, I'm gonna do a 24-hour event. I invited a couple mates, only one of them turned up, and we started.
is he still your mate now?
Oh yeah, he went good. He didn't make it to 24 hours, but he got 40 Ks in. So I made up a 5K loop,
Oh yes.
and this was
And
part
on
of
the
it.
hour, every hour.
Every hour an hour.
Yep.
Started at midnight, and man, I made it. 120 Ks, furthest I had ever gone. I was falling asleep mid-speech. I would come back to the house and talking to my wife, and all of a sudden I go, clunk, like I had narcolepsy. I was out. She's like, you were asleep. I was like, really? Man.
Little micro naps.
Yeah. So I haven't done anything since. So I figured, you know what? Now instead of doing a monthly mission, I was gonna live like this.
Yeah.
So I just, I'll have 100K weeks where I run. Then I'll just decide to ruck. I might just decide to, I start doing some lunges. I did walking lunges. I said, I wonder how far I'm gonna go 100 meters. I'm gonna go up 100 meters until I get to, I ended up lunging at 1.5 Ks one day for the last day.
Yeah, right.
I call those escalated missions, things that get harder as it goes.
Yeah, they scale up.
Yeah.
Yeah. So this is the oval, huh?
It's the oval of opportunity.
And were you running around the outside or on the grass?
Back then I was on the inside.
Ah, yeah.
A lap just on the inside. And then,
Kids on there.
I mean, it'd be days, man, it was just full of water. And I'm just slushing through it.
Yeah.
Days when it was like 0 degrees, I'm just slushing through it. Because, missions happen in the wintertime.
Yeah. And so the last day, how many Ks would have that been? Did you measure it?
Yeah, I got it all in my book back home. About 12 and a half Ks, I think, the last day.
But in total on that month, you would have
about
had a good total.
246.
Yeah, right.
And my man's go, did you just run 2? I said, I can't believe it.
Awesome.
I said, so once that happened, I was like, what else could I do? Now I have this natural curiosity I think we all have. I go, could I run 500 Ks?
Remind me when we get back to show you Hardcore Harry's.
Yep.
So they're a group in Melbourne, and they set challenges, and they usually do it for cash. It's like they have a pull-up challenge or a run challenge, or like they do just a whole heap of different challenges, but they put money in, like they put money rewards on it.
Oh, yeah.
And not that most people don't care about the money, but it just adds a little bit of
Yeah.
Yeah, but so he's doing a backyard ultra, and it'll be a shorter one, but it's a hilly one. So he's doing King of the Hill, I think he's called it.
Yeah.
I'm gonna have him on. I was gonna try to catch him for a podcast while I was down here. Ethan, his name is, but I'll show you their stuff because I think you'd really like their stuff as well. Just for then you don't need to think about stuff all the time. You can just look at what their challenges are as well and go, oh yeah,
I'll get inspiration from anywhere.
Yeah. Well, and it gives you something to do where you're not having to think of the next challenge that's bigger and better all the time.
Yeah.
So, but you might like his backyard ultra.
I mean, the next backyard, because I figure I've already done a backyard ultra.
Yeah.
With 24 hours.
Yeah.
How can I can't do it again, the same format.
No.
It's got to be harder, right?
Yeah.
So I like concocting. That's fun for me.
Yeah.
Just thinking, this will really suck. I tell you, it's because of this job. We're gonna go.
Oh, yeah.
Because of this job I got. Like look at how much I literally have between. I don't sleep much no more. My body's just used to not sleeping.
Yeah.
Because I got to get up at 3 in the morning a lot of times when I was doing missions. So it's like, well, I can't take a day off work. So it's got to happen on the weekends.
Yeah. Yeah.
And weekends, like now that NBL season started up, like I'm commentating NBL games, I'm doing podcasts, I'm doing so much stuff.
Yeah.
Which made the mission great, this one particular mission, because I was like, I remember commentating the Perth game. It finished at like 10 o'clock in Melbourne time.
Yeah.
I was like, I still got 20 Ks to run. I gotta get in the car, go home. I gotta get this done. So I mean, it was always, I like how you gotta figure it out.
Yeah.
You got a mission plan.
Yeah. No
Okay, if I get up at 3, I can get maybe 20 Ks in before work. I can run on my lunch break, both afternoon and morning tea break, probably get another 15 Ks in. Then after work, let the traffic settle down, run for another hour, come home, I might only have 7 Ks to do. And then eat, go to sleep.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So it's all, I like that part of it.
Yeah. Yeah, it's all part of the challenge, isn't it? So with basketball now, so I guess let's work into getting to Paris. And like, were you coaching basketball like how do you get a coaching gig for an Olympic team? Like you would have, like I would have thought that would have been like an NBL coach or like someone that's in that coaching sort of ecosystem.
Yeah, I never coached 3x3 before, so Dave Beaver was the National Pathways manager of 3x3. He was coaching none of White Inspectors in NBL 1.
Yeah.
So anyway, 3x3 it happens during an NBL 1 season.
Ah, right.
So he had the men and women. I don't know how he did it. Because all the coaches in the WNBL, they're not gonna go and, they don't have time to go to Singapore for a weekend tournament.
Yeah.
You know, and a lot of those coaches don't even like 3x3. They think it's a bastardized game of basketball. Didn't know at the time it was gonna be an Olympic sport.
Yeah.
So back then, Dave was coaching the men and women. Couldn't get any NBL players to play because they're like, how much? We're like, nothing. Like, we're not playing. So he found NBL 1 players who just wanted to travel and have a go.
Yeah.
So.
What a good pathway into the Olympics though, right?
Well, at the time, we didn't know it was going to be an Olympics.
Ah, right.
This is 2018.
So you were coaching.
I was coaching in Whittlesea, not far from here,
not knowing that it was even going to be the Olympics.
No, none of us did.
Yeah, right.
It hadn't been included yet.
Yeah.
It wasn't announced it was going to include it, right? So Dave, I played with him. I came out to Australia with him. We're really great mates. And Dave goes, hey man, Basketball Australia is looking for a women's coach. I want to coach the men. He goes, you should apply. I go, well, I do know some of the girls in the team. I actually did individuals with 2 of them.
Yeah.
That's all right. So I went and applied for the job. Going up these steps.
Yeah.
And they gave me a kind of like an interview. It was on the in-game interview. They said, all right, Damon, you take the team to Puerto Rico for the World Cup qualifier. No pressure. And the other guy who was going for the job, they said, you take the team to China for the Asia Cup. No pressure.
Ah.
Well, we both won it. I went to Puerto Rico and won. He went to China and won. And then we had one more interview and they gave it to me. So We ended up making it to the World Cup in Amsterdam in 2019. And then they announced Tokyo's gonna have 3x3 in the Olympics. It was like, what? Oh my God. We need an Olympic qualifier. Well, we had to qualify for that. We didn't have enough ranking points because we don't play enough. All the tournaments happen in Europe. So anyway, we flew to China, we racked up some points, scraped in, went to Austria for the Olympic qualifier for Tokyo, and bombed out.
All right.
So, back to the drawing board. 4 years later, we qualified for Paris.
Insane. And so you've been in that Olympic program for a while now?
Yep, since 2018,
And is that
2019.
So when they're traveling around going to all these tournaments to try to qualify, is that all covered under BA?
Yep.
Yeah, right.
We don't have to pay for anything. There's prize money in some of these tournaments
Yeah.
that you can get ranking points, and there's a pro circuit in Europe. 20 stops, women's series they call it. 20 of them. And some countries, if you go to the most stops, you get ranking points. And in first Tokyo Olympics, Romania qualified based on ranking points because FIBA wanted to reward the teams
That were
that
going to
committed
the
to 3x3.
Yeah.
They're not going to let Australia breeze in, play a couple tournaments and get an Olympic spot over Romania, who play all the time. So we had to win our Asia Cup, that's our region, in Singapore, had to beat New Zealand. China often shows up. And if China back then, we wasn't that good. China showed up and beat us pretty good. Hey, they happened to be second in the world at the time. So things have progressed since then. But Asia Cup is our pathway. It's a good view, isn't it?
It's nice.
If you like trees.
It's a greens borough.
Got that
Borough
right.
of greens.
Got that right. So we had to go to Japan for the Olympic qualifier.
Yeah. I think I watched
So the World Cup gets you an Olympic qualifier. Actually, sorry, a Zone Cup. So we won the Asia Cup. That got us an Olympic qualifier. Only one chance. 8 countries in it, 3 automatic bids on ranking points, 5 other spots. You're gonna take the one winner from our Zone Cup. So Kenya won the Africa Cup. Canada won the AmeriCup. Netherlands won the European Cup. Who else was there? Japan, I don't know how they got there. Anyway, we had to win, man. And we ended up winning. We had to beat Canada. We lost the first game to Netherlands.
Yeah, I saw that.
Backs against the wall.
Yeah.
We beat Canada. Then had to beat them again to get to Paris. And man, it was jubilation.
I bet.
Yep.
And so that was pretty close to the Olympics too, yeah?
Yeah, May. So about a month and a half out.
Yeah, right.
So we came back from Japan and we got 2 stops in. And we had to ask FIBA because teams register for these. You just can't just show up to the party.
All right.
You can't crash the
There's a
party.
process.
So luckily, one stop in Guba, Azerbaijan, not a lot of countries want to go to that.
No.
And I can see why. So we went to Guba. We also went to Chengdu, China. So we won both of those. Got great experience. I mean, great
And
experience.
that was
In the
like
lead
just
up.
a preparation.
It was
tour.
perfect.
Yeah.
So we left Azerbaijan and went straight to Paris. So we got there on the 23rd. Opening ceremonies was the 26th. And we played on the 30th, our first game. So
Yeah, right.
that was the most practice experience we ever had going into a tournament. Because a lot of countries will see me. They recognize Australia.
Yeah.
They recognize me. It's a community 3x3. They're like, Damon, how are you guys this good and you never play? I go, I got professional basketball players
Yeah.
and we're learning 3x3.
And on that, so the crew that went to Paris,
Yep.
have they been with you? Were they the same crew that were in the Tokyo?
No, different crew.
All right.
All 4 different. That was a tough decision. I had to make it though. I just felt like that other team had maxed out.
Yeah.
So I still had them in camp. I gave everybody a chance to try out. And I went another way.
Yeah.
That's the hardest part of being a coach, man.
And a boss.
I mean, hey, you spend so much time with these girls, this team.
Yeah.
You guys, and 3x3 is intimate, man. It's only 4 of them.
Yeah, yeah.
I mean, you guys, we travel 15 hours, 20 hours on a plane.
Yeah.
And all of it, you know, you get real close. And then when you say, sorry, I'm not taking you, they're crushed.
Yeah, I bet.
It's the worst feeling.
And so, like, where are you just looking around those NBL 1 teams? Is that where your talent comes from?
No, they're all WNBL players.
Yeah.
But they're the players that the Opals haven't chosen.
Ah, right.
Lucky for me.
Ah, yeah, because it's kind of like a second chance draw for some of them, yeah?
Yeah, I mean, Annalie Maley was the only one that had been in the Opals, but she was got left off the last squad, and her fiance, Marina Whittle, is in my team. So it came down to decide, you know, Opal's got an Olympic qualifier, and we have an Olympic qualifier.
As soon as you said that, all I thought was, that's cheaper accommodation too.
They're in the same room. Yeah.
You just saved yourself a room. Thanks, BA.
Yeah, so a lot of the girls, now that we see we're an Olympic chance, more girls will always go with the Opals if they had a chance. They had a choice, they're gonna pick the Opals.
Yeah.
But would you rather be the 12th player on the Opals who don't play?
Yeah.
Or would you rather be 3x3?
At the end of the bench.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. Look what we got here. How many hoops have you shot here, my friend?
Not many, actually. No. Not many.
No.
Because there's no net.
No net, yeah.
Yeah.
It's a bit average
Yeah,
out.
I'm not a basketball player anymore.
No. He's a rucker.
Yeah.
Well, you're a bit of everything, aren't you?
You can't have selfish people. I don't care how talented they are. So when I was younger, a younger coach, I got gassed up and I was seduced by talent. But then you realize everybody got talent. Now the teams that's got character, high character teams win.
Yeah.
I'm looking at Canada, these girls, wow, so recruitment now is, talent is last on my list. First is character. If you selfish, I don't care if you're the greatest player in Australia, you ain't playing for me. It's only a matter of time before we come unstuck. It just can't work.
So how did you go in Paris?
5th.
And so
we lost the first game. It was overall about a moment. All 4 debutante Olympians.
Yeah.
Canada came out, smacked us around. So we had a hard talking to. I was like, hey, you guys are happy to be here. And Canada's trying to win a medal. So
and that was the difference in that first game.
Yep. Next 4 games we win.
Yep.
We're 4-1. It was a round robin. Top 2 teams go straight through to the semi. All we gotta do is win one more game. We was tied with Germany, who we already had beat. And one of my players, taping up before we're getting ready to play Spain, back goes out. Back spasms. So we gotta play with 3.
Oh. So
now it's hard with 4.
Yeah.
With 3, it's extra hard.
Yeah.
But that's no excuse. We blew that game, but the girls were rattled. And we were exposed. Some of our deficiencies were exposed when we were under stress like that. And this is why I say this is why you gotta stress yourself out. This is why I do stuff like this, to stress myself, to get to the real core issues. Whereas I think my girls learned a valuable lesson. A lot of the stuff that, a lot of the stuff that they might have said, oh yeah, this won't be a problem. Well, guess what? That problem that you didn't think would be a problem, it's now a big problem. And you didn't know it was gonna be a big problem, but here we are in the Olympics and the world is watching. So, then we ended up losing the next game to France. So we finished 4-3.
4-3, yeah, right.
And then now we got to play a knockout against Canada, and we got absolutely cooked. And we finished 5th.
Yeah, right.
So we're proud and disappointed at the same time. It's a weird cocktail.
And then so what's next with you as coach, and do you start prepping for the next Com Games?
Well, what happens now is the WNBL season has just started preseason. 3 of my girls are playing WNBL. Woo.
Gives you a bit of vertigo being on this, doesn't it?
I've had $1 for every time I ran over this thing. Yeah, 3 of my girls WNBL.
Oh, right.
One's playing in Hungary. I won't see them. Asia Cup is in March in Singapore. We'll have a camp, and there's no entitlement where I live. No entitlement, man. No complacency. Nobody deserves nothing.
Yeah.
And
So they'll all start again.
Got to start over.
Yeah, and you'll get a new crop of girls come in as well.
I got a squad of 8.
Yep.
And with 3x3, you need to build depth, because with tournaments, you just can't sometimes you need to have your 2 out of your top 10 with ranking points. You just can't bring in anybody.
Yeah, right.
Not like 5-on-5. So I got to make sure I get
that they get their points. And you'll do that through, will you go to Europe to do tournaments there, or?
Well, after the WNBL season finishes, which I think is around February, we'll make it right, around February, then we can, the NBL 1 season starts. So I say to the girls, hey, I know you're all getting paid to play NBL 1, but you want to play for Australia? We can go to some tournaments. If we win it, they get to split the money. Coaches don't get any of the prize money.
Yeah.
So
do you get paid by, like, are you an employee from VA? Yeah.
Yeah, but I don't get any. FIBA pays only the players.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So that's what we'll do. So I'll say to the girls after the Olympics, all right, off you go. Off to your 5-on-5 worlds. That's their livelihood. Yeah. That's their career.
And are you forever watching tape and coming up with plays?
Constantly.
No?
Constantly.
Oh, constantly.
Oh, my God. There's so much 3x3 to watch, man. I'm learning, man. I've only been in it for 6 years, but I feel like, I'm evolving. But man, it's a beautiful thing to watch. I can watch anybody can pick up stuff. We're so far behind in Australia. There's an under 23 World Cup. We don't have an under 23 team. There's an under 21 World Cup. We don't have an under 21 team.
So why is that? Is that just a financial?
Basketball Australia this came out of the blue.
That'd be nicer for you to have a feeder.
It'd be awesome.
Yeah.
It'd be awesome.
Yeah.
But we're not.
And you got to think that basketball's on such a boom. Like that same meeting, I think Chuck Harmson was the marketing guy at the time.
My old GM.
Yeah. Yeah. Is he there now still?
No, he's retired.
Yeah. But and they were in such basketball was just in nowhere in Australia when I went
left around here.
They offered me the front of the jersey sponsorship for the London Olympics for 20 grand.
Really?
And I didn't even have a brand that I could put on there.
Oh, wow.
But I'm like, that's how basketball in Australia was when I was talking to them about having 3-on-3 planned. I've still got the deck and everything that I pitched to them. Yeah.
Oh.
But so I'm stoked to see it like evolve and come about, because it's doing exactly what I knew that it could do. Yeah. Like 12, 15 years ago.
Well, we got grassroots 3x3 is starting to grow now in Australia. There's a guy at Basketball Victoria named Greg Jeffers who started up 3x3 national championships. It's so underground, nobody hardly knew about it.
Yeah, right. And is that touring around with a court, like setting it up in all?
No, they're playing in these normal stadiums.
Oh, right.
Yep.
I always thought, for me, I wanted to take it to the street. So, like, my plan was to have the 20-foot container with the court. Oh, yeah. We would just go take it, set it up in any city or regional centre, make it a little bit of an urban festival. Yep. Like have a bit of a street festival theme to it.
Yeah, that's the vibe.
Yeah, because I'm like, you can go and play any basketball tournament in any, like I used to travel around and play basketball tournaments in regional New South Wales.
Right.
And we used to play against Carfino and those guys, they played in the off season as well.
Yeah.
But I just thought with 3-on-3, you've got that opportunity to do something different.
Yeah. Now it's growing, but now with BA, you see the Opals and Boomers, they're world class. Yeah. They're a medal chance at every tournament they go to. Yeah. So 3x3 is like, huh, what? Yeah. Like, it's like, huh, what are you guys doing again? then they go, oh, wait a minute, they're Olympians. It's like, oh my God, we got to throw some resources to them. But it kind of came out of nowhere.
You might have been able to get Thibault this year for the boys team.
How handy is he would be on a 3x3 court?
I know, mate. How good would that be?
No, Jan Sterling and Peter Lonergan, the ones that started the 3x3 with Australia, so.
Yeah, and how did the boys go?
Didn't qualify.
Oh.
No, you see, it's hard with the men because you can't find 4 guys that want to stay together. Yeah. Like I say, these are NBL dudes making big money.
Yeah.
They're not going to go and waste.
And play for nothing. Yeah.
So you got to go to the NBL.
Injury,
exactly.
All that stuff.
So you got to find some NBL 1 dudes or some aged out NBL guys who are kind of like, but man, you go to these other countries, these World Cups, man. These countries got teams that don't even play 5-on-5. All they do is 3x3.
Yeah. Well, it needs to be its own program.
Yep. But now that they seen the Olympics is a real possibility.
Yeah.
We'll see what happens next year.
Yeah.
Greg Hire is not a men's coach. So Greg Hire's got some NBL clout from his Perth days. So we'll see what he can do with the program on the men's side.
Yeah,
Women,
nice.
we're going just great.
Yeah. And do you have anything to do with sponsorship, or like do you get involved with any of that? Does the team have its own sponsors?
Well, Ford only just came on board because, like I said, we got so successful.
Yeah.
Ford only just came on board. Yeah, but like, you know, we got some funding from Com Games because we got on the podium.
Yeah.
Got some Olympic funding. But, you know, the Opals are sponsored by Signet, the Boomers. I mean, BA just got money set aside for them guys.
Yeah.
Whereas, like I said, 3x3 is kind of like we're brand new in that landscape. So sponsorship, after what we just did, hopefully it starts to come our way.
Well, I'll be looking out for you guys if I see a fit. If you were going to do a call out for brands that you think would fit your team and the whole 3-on-3, like what brands do you think work really well?
Well, the girls, they like their compression gear.
Yep. So like a
2XU
or an Under Armour.
Under Armour or whatever that.
Yep.
Also, they health supplements like, you know, the what's it called?
Like BSC. And
like Musashi, all that kind of health drinks and health tablets and supplements.
Yeah.
Then that kind of stuff.
I might have one actually in mind for that.
Yeah, because you're playing in 38-degree heat. Some tournaments, girls like, who's got the magnesium?
Yeah, well, we're working on. So part of my business, I've got the rucksack, but we've also got a nutrition company as well.
Yeah.
And so we've got, you know of AG1, like Athletic Greens. Have you heard of them? It's like a green powder drink.
Yeah.
Like a dietary supplement. We've formulated the world's first. It's got protein and aminos inside of a green drink.
Yep.
And so we've called it GAP, which is greens, aminos, protein. But we've also got a salts product, which is the whole like electrolytes and, you know.
Oh, yeah.
So our business is, we want to make things, it's like tasty good. So it needs to taste great.
Yep.
And then it also needs to have good benefits for your health. So whether that's some creatine, whether that's some collagen protein, whether that's, you know, so, and that's how we model that business. So I'll circle back with you on that one because I think it'd be cool to sponsor your girls.
Yeah, I mean, all we need, because FIBA, when you go to a tournament, FIBA pays for the hotel.
Yeah.
There's prize money. All you need is flights.
Yeah.
So normally we only go to China because that's the cheapest, that's the shortest and cheapest flight.
Yeah.
But the real ball is in Europe. And man, now we're talking 17 hours on the plane.
Yeah.
You know, more expensive. Yeah, the flights get costly.
Yeah.
And so you can't just be there for a week. So if we go to our own tournament, because a lot of countries often invite me, Damon, why don't you come to the Philippines? Can you bring your team to Spain? Can you come to Croatia? I'm like, man, we don't have money to do that. I would love to. Even the Serbians, who I call the ancient vampires of 3x3.
Yeah.
The Serbian guys say, oh man, you come to Serbia? Yeah, man, we'll train you girls. I'm like, oh my God. That's unbelievable. But like, you know, again,
it's
you need flights.
And they'd be able to donate their time? Like, is it the athletes would be happy to spend time going to Serbia?
These girls now are committed because they just got a taste of the Olympics.
Yeah, yeah.
So now they all have their WNBL contracts. If they represent Australia, sorry, coach, you gotta let me go.
Yeah.
But
and is there a world, so is 3-on-3 in Com Games?
We don't know yet. Well, it would have been. It was in Birmingham and we got bronze.
Yep.
And then it was going to be in Victoria, and we all know what happened with that. Yep. Uncle Dan.
Good state you live in here.
But now I hear that Glasgow is trying to get the games, but they're only going to have eight events. And they haven't named them yet.
Won't be in there.
So you know what? I'd rather sit that one out. But we got a World Cup next year.
Oh, okay.
They haven't announced where it's going to be, but that's the thing with 3x3.
So every year there's a World Cup?
Yep.
Yeah.
Except the Olympic year.
Yeah. So yeah, 3 out of 4. Then you have Olympics.
I mean, who wouldn't want to sponsor? I got 4 athletic, good-looking women, great role models for girls basketball.
And are you allowed to do anything with, like, I've got a guy, I spoke to him today, actually. He's based in New Zealand, but he does some stuff with the Houston Rockets, and he's a sponsorship guru.
Yeah.
And I'm like, I just want to connect him and you up together. So, because he would work on getting you, particularly in Asia. He's really strong in Asia. And I'm like,
what's his name?
Michael Keach.
Because I met a guy in Singapore that had something to do with the NBA. I don't think he was at the Rockets though.
Yeah, right.
Anyway, keep
no,
going.
he's got connections there, and he's got connections with like Mercedes AMG F1 team, and he's a pretty connected dude. But he lives in the world of sponsorship. Yeah, and he used to play. He was one of my. He was shooting guard. I was point guard.
Okay.
So we grew up school playing all the rep basketball and all that sort of stuff, and so. Yeah, but would he have to deal with, like, is basketball... You have to
go through our marketing, that whole commercial.
But are they actively looking for sponsorship for you?
They say they are, but I don't...
Yeah.
Proof's in the pudding.
Yeah.
I don't think they are.
You haven't seen any cakes yet?
Nah, left.
Yeah.
I mean, Ford just came through. They gave Annalie Maley a truck. They only gave out one. They gave it to her. She got a high profile.
Yeah.
But for me, there's no saying that we couldn't have 5, 6 sponsors. Why not?
Yeah.
I actually I had the lady from runs Athlete's Foot.
Yeah.
And
they're one of our sponsors.
This lady's from Sydney, and my mate manages Athlete's Foot in Ballarat. He put me on to her.
Yeah, was it Heidi?
Heidi.
Yeah. Heidi.
Well, Heidi.
So Heidi there.
Heidi was keen.
I'm seeing Heidi this weekend.
Heidi was keen.
Yeah.
And BA never got back to her. 5Ks.
Yeah, that's 5K
ruck.
All right, there's another Rucking Good episode in the books. Hopefully you liked it, and if you did, feel free to share it around and throw us a like and subscribe if you so wish to. If you would like to see or be a guest on Rucking Good, please drop me an email to team@rucksack.com. And until then, we'll catch you on another episode.